Hello! So last year I had the fantastic opportunity to create a Hidden One cosplay to celebrate the launch of Assassin's Creed Mirage. I worked with the team at Ubisoft ANZ to create this cosplay, and then I got to fly up to Sydney to help launch the game alongside my fellow Hidden One Nadia, who was cosplaying Rashan. In this video, I'm going to take you through the process of putting this cosplay on, and then also tell you a little bit about each of the pieces as I'm putting them on. So without further ado, let's get into it. Underlayers. The base layer of this cosplay is a simple cotton long sleeve tunic shirt and a pair of cotton pants. The shirt I made myself using a modified McCall's pattern and a light cotton, and then the pants I found at an op shop to repurpose. Both the shirt and the pants were dyed grey to match the reference, and then weathered with a combination of strongly brewed tea and watered down acrylic paint. Boots. The boots that I wear for this cosplay are a simple pair of faux leather zip-up boots. And now, a fun fact about these boots: these are not the original boots that I wear for the cosplay. The original boots actually broke Friday morning of PAX Oz last year, and I was meant to be on a booth Friday morning with Ubisoft ANZ in this cosplay, and my boots broke in the car park. So I laced them up the best I could using spare string I had in my car, and my mum had come in with me, and while I was on the booth, she went down to the shops and bought me a new pair of boots, which are the boots that I wear now, so thanks, Mum. Short sleeve undershirt. Mirage's Hidden Ones wear a second undershirt underneath their main tunic layer. For my undershirt, I once again used a modified McCall's pattern to create a basic shirt. This undershirt is made with a really nice linen. It's the same fabric that I then used for the tabard and the hood. Tabard. To create the pattern for the tabard, I actually used an old Templar costume that I had laying around in my stash. I'd gotten it years ago at an op shop and thought, oh, I might need that one day, and what do you know, I ended up needing it. I used double-layered linen again to create the tabard, and then ran a decorative stitch along the whole garment in order to match the reference. As this is one of the outermost layers, it's the most weathered. I used paint, tea, coffee, and eyeshadow to create a worn and used look. Sash belt. The sash belt was made with a thin blue cotton. It's double-layered with a decorative stitch to finish and flatten the pieces. Using the sewn-in loops, I then threaded these onto a thin leather belt, and I had my sash. Main belt. The main belt was perhaps the most complex part of this build. It's EVA foam with thin half dowels used to create the leather details. It's 4 pieces in total that come together to form the full piece. I used a thin brown cotton to replicate leather in the references. This whole piece fastens at the back using a corset-like closure. This isn't accurate to the reference because in the game, the belt doesn't actually have any closures. Sword belt. The sword belt is made up of repurposed secondhand leather belts, metal rings, and a fair few rivets. The snake buckle on the belt is made from warbler and then painted with rub and buff in the shade antique gold. Hood. In the original iteration of this cosplay, the hood worn is similar to that of Altair's. This hood took a fair few tries to get it right, and since wearing this cosplay for a few shoots, I have since switched it out for a simple blue shawl that is made from a similar coloured linen as the blue element of the cosplay. Shoulder armour. I made the shoulder armour out of EVA foam covered in cotton and then used leather cording with a blanket stitch to replicate the stitching detail in the reference. To make the armour wearable, I once again used belts from my stash to make an underarm strap and a crossbody one. Arm and leg armour. Just like all of the other armour pieces, I made the arm and leg armour using EVA foam and cotton. For the gold pieces on the braces, I used thin EVA foam that I had heated, and then using a lino cut stamp, I pressed the design into the foam. These pieces were painted with gold rub and buff and then glued to the armour. I made loops from fabric and attached them to the inside of the armour. This allowed me to lace them up to wear them. Sword. The sword is made from wood, PVC, foam clay, and warbler. Its construction is relatively similar to how real swords are created, with the blade, tang, and crossguard all slotting together to create a sturdy base. I then painted it with spray paint and acrylics and some more gold rub and buff. So here we have it. This is my Hidden One cosplay. This cosplay was an absolute blast to make and an absolute dream come true for a cosmaker such as myself. Thank you again to the team at Ubisoft ANZ for bringing me on board for this project. It was just the coolest thing ever. To check out more of my cosplay work, I will put all my links to my socials below. And thank you so much for watching. Catch you in the next one.